promoted through the 600s, and then look at him, the World Superbike.
Yeah, absolutely. Living next to Lake Como at the moment, Ryan is apparently. So, yeah, let's all come give him. Yeah, I'd forgotten that Ryan started with those. So, yeah, would have seen him race all those years ago. Right, we're on the grid, ready to go. And away we go. Hooking up very nicely from the pole position then. That is Dan North getting away with it.
Yeah,
Pete Woodall doesn't get hookups. Pete Woodall hasn't quite worked out the clutch on this CV500 yet, but he certainly comes on strong once the race gets going, doesn't he?
So yeah, today's racing should suit him a little bit better then, with it being a longer duration. Obviously, it gives him more opportunity, more laps to pluck away at the race leaders. But yes, I think it was 2/3 yesterday for Woodall. Am I right in saying? Or?
Yeah, I think you're right there, mate. Yep, absolutely. There was Corty and North arguing over the races most of the time.
Yeah, Dan North took both victories yesterday.
Yep.
Jake Corty second both times, and Pete Woodall third both times. But it looks like he's getting a little bit closer. Nose to tail stuff as they go in towards Surtees. And through the left hand, there is nothing to separate them at all, is there? It's just a long stream of CB500s.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody
car retirement there, towards the rear as they go back to the paddock. But coming around Clark Curve to complete lap number 1 of 12. And we'll pick them up here. So Daniel North was the man on pole position, but he is currently in second place as Jake Corty, bike number 53, leads the way ahead of the number 13. So easy to spot for Richard Blunt, the man from Bury St Edmunds. He's there in third place. Pete Woodall in fifth.
Sean O'Hara next up, mate.
In fourth place for Sean O'Hara.
Yeah. And then it's Billy Carter, I think. And is that the same Carter we saw in the Ninjas?
That's a good question.
Yeah, maybe. Similar kind of bikes, really, I suppose. Gary Durling up next, and it's Richard Hayward. Then it's the rookie, the number 93 machine. I wonder where he got the idea for that number, of Ryan Gregory. And then it's Kearney behind him, second of the rookies. So a little bit of a rookie battle going on there, which is good because these are great bikes for the rookies as well to learn their trade on. Much less expensive to run than something like a Gix 1000 that people seem to think they need to start racing with. And I tell you what, looking at the lap times from yesterday, not much slower than a Gix 1000 around here, only by about 3 or 4 seconds, which, given the amount of money just on rubber alone, but a set of tyres for the weekend would probably buy you one of these bikes quite happily. So it shows the difference in price. Not in performance though, so Corty leads North. Then North might be in second by 0.4 of a second, but he has got the quickest lap there on the first of the flying lap. So we'll wait and see. And whoever ends up with the fastest lap from this weekend, of course, will claim the lap record in this class.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was just watching number 15, Christopher Rowland, I think, who's had his hand in the air and is potentially retiring from this one. He's carried on for now. And there's another retirement here in pit lane. We'll try and pick up a number there, 23 into the paddock as well.
23 into the pit lane there is
Adrian Kershaw.
Adrian Kershaw, thank you. Yep, he started second on the second row there, fifth on the grid. So he was a serious contender there, which is a great shame to see him drop back like that. Well, hopefully he'll nothing too serious as the leaders come over the line once again.
56.325 for Jake Corty, opens up his advantage by another 0.2 of a second over Darren North. And Richard Blunt, Sean O'Hara and Pete Woodall is your top 5. But of course, Jake Corty leading the way in the C1s. One of 3 riders in the C1s there. With,
we've got a third one today.
Yes,
Marshall, of course. Yeah, I can see Marshall down there. And
it's in the 145 of Paddy Moore as well from Stafford.
Yeah.
So
Paddy was the one who started at the back there yesterday, so without a time. So I'm thinking that's why he wasn't on my result sheet when I was looking at them this morning to sort the spot prize actions. We do have a load of spot prizes for most classes, and this is one we weren't able to present last night, so they are in the office. I did see this morning there's quite a lot of spot prizes sitting down there. Notice both the Dart Motorsport 600 prizes were there for Gareth Faith and I can't remember who else it was, but yeah, a whole lot of prizes going on, and we'd like to thank very much the sponsors for supplying those as North and O'Hara come across the line, separated by 2 1/4 seconds. Sorry, by 0.92 of a second. So it's Corty who is now setting the fastest lap. He's into the 55s.
I think Jake Corty's got a bit of a... and if you go the long way round on Jake Corty, that'll give him the inside line towards Graham Hill Bend, and he's got it done. So number 39 of Daniel North, is your new race leader ahead of Jake Corty. They've put some distance between themselves and third place. That's number 7, Sean O'Hara, ahead of Richard Blunt and Pete Woodall. Looks like a lonely race there for 76 of Billy Carter, but the gap in front 1.1 and the gap behind 3.1. It's looking a little bit safer now for Carter, but of course you can't rest on your laurels in the CB500s.
Oh no, you're not going to get ready. You can't rest on your laurels with anything at all. But Yeah, look at these guys. They're super, super close, aren't they? Corty and North. Well, Corty's now gone fastest in the first sector. Continues to lead, but we are talking by 0.05 of a second. So absolutely nothing between them. There is definitely a battle on here. We're now almost at the halfway point, 5 laps in. And tell you what, I'm also impressed by, I don't really think there's going to be too many back markers to worry about here, Bradley. You know, I'm looking up the track there. We're halfway into the race, and as the leaders come at the back of us, where we are at the start-finish line, that is where the back markers are. So they might come into play right at the very end of the race. So which could make for an exciting grandstand finish. Tell you what, that battle for third place, it might be dropped quite a way back by about 4 seconds, but O'Hara, Blunt and Woodall are definitely getting the elbows out to try and gain an advantage there and pick up a few points, aren't they?
Pete Woodall just had a look at the inside of, I think that was Richard Blunt in front of him there, is it? As they battle for third place, as you mentioned, but it's in fact Sean O'Hara. So Sean O'Hara in third place ahead of Pete Woodall. Pete Woodall looks to the inside for Graham Hill-Bend, and that's Richard Blunt looking to go the long way around, but not quite close enough to pull it off this time. But Woodall in third place now ahead of O'Hara and Blunt, as the battle for the lead still rages on round Druitt. And North there, Daniel North in second place behind Jake Corty. Of course, this is an on-track battle. They're both leading their respective classes, but if you want to win the race, you want to win it from the front, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to just be the class winner, you want to be the overall winner, and these two are both going at it, absolute hammer and tongs. Every time over the line, they're separated by less than 1/10 of a second, literally 0.05 of a second, 0.04 of a second, in fact, last time round. Battle behind them starting to look like it's going to go in Mr. Woodall's favour, but I'm certainly not going to write the others off, because that slipstream effect on the front straight can make all the difference. As once again we see North trying to pull out on Corsi. Again, 0.03 of a second, and this time it's North on the inside of Corsi. Let's see if he can pull it back. Yes, he can. He holds on to it. We're going to see an outbreaking manoeuvre from Corti at the top. No. Oh, well, we're going to see them both go down, mate. They've both gone down. They've tumbled. I think they must have collided at the apex there. One of them must have tucked the front. Not quite sure what happened, but all of a sudden the first and second in the race have unfortunately taken to the gravel like a big gravel munching machine. They're both up. They're both perfectly okay. Nothing wrong with the riders. No doubt there'll be a little bit of discussion as to who did what to whom, but can't see any fisticuffs, so it's all good. I think they're just having a quick chat in the gravel there as they wander off out of harm's way, being guided, of course, by the marshals, who quickly scoop up their machines. So this puts a whole new complex on the race, doesn't it? All of a sudden, that battle, which is a good one for third place, has suddenly become the battle for the lead. And all these top three will have seen with that unfold in front of them, because they were only a few seconds behind. And all of a sudden, over the line, it is now Pete Woodall who leads the CB 500 race, ahead of Sean O'Hara and Richard Blunt. And these guys are all C2, so there's absolutely no class about them whatsoever. And let's see if somebody can do it. So the lights are flashing there. Obviously no overtaking up into Druids, while the marshal quickly clean up the mess. It'll only take them a minute or so, but they want to be out of harm's way, as Pete Woodall is making the most. Absolutely not rolling out of it. He's pushing on as hard as he can. He's got an advantage now, about 5 or 6 bike lengths. Behind these three, it looks like it's the first of the C3 machines, and that is the number 76 of Ian Carter. That's all right. Too many Carters around here, mate. Don't worry. I want to make sure I get the right one. So I do wonder if the back markers will now come into play. The back markers just across the line there. We're now 2/3 of the way into the race. It'll be 3/4 of a lap the way into the race as these guys come across the line now. So Woodall will be being cheered on by his friends in the MZ paddock there, of course, and I know quite a few of them are watching. Quite a few of them have a vested interest in this race, because we've got a bit of a crossover between the 500 guys and the MZ guys. So there'll be a lot of interest there at the bottom of paddock outside of Halewoods. This is where they all gather in to watch the races, as Woodall comes down the bottom, elbows well and truly in play, ready to go. You don't have to teach Pete Woodall a thing about close racing. Oh, somebody else going for the gravel there, mate, as well. They remain completely upright. One of our rookie riders has decided he wants to try his off-road skills and thinks, you know what, these tyres don't really work off-road, so maybe I should try and find a different way out.
Looks like that was Robert Flint up there at Clearways, but let's say is just being tended to by the marshals. That is some deep gravel up there at McLaren's and Clearways, isn't it? So definitely not going to be easy to pull that out. So I suspect that'll be his race done as the marshals grab the bike and push him aside. But great shame for Robert Blunt from Derby, which is running in a strong position there. 12th in class, of course, as a rookie there. It's all points and it's all experience. But the race lead is then now making the way towards the top end of the circuit. Woodall led O'Hara by 0.1 of a second. And it is still Woodall leading the way as you go out of Graham Hill Bend onto the Cooper Straight. We do have 2.5 laps to go, so the last lap flag will be getting readied and shown to these guys when they cross the line this time around.
Kearney and Gregory having their own little battle back in 8th place. That's for the leading rookie as well. Obviously, I think there might be a rookie championship here as well, so everybody trying to get their own points in, but not a huge amount of rookies there. But hey, you can only race who shows up at the end of the day.
He's found that 0.2 of a second and has overcome that race lead from Pete Woodall.
As the last lap flag goes out, so if you're going to lead a race, there's only one more lap. You really want to be leading a race, and Pete Woodall knows that, and he's determined to fight back. Looks like they've dropped Richard Blunt by about a second or so, so I think Richard is out of this. A few more back markers to tussle with, who stay well and truly out the way. Woodall's going to have a look surely down the inside coming into Graham Hill. Oh, we know how strong he is. We saw that yesterday, didn't we? Pete is very, very strong into Graham Hill, and wow, absolutely smashes it.
He's
in
got
fact,
a back marker in between himself and
that's the way to do it.
Blunt.
I think Pete Woodall could be heading for the 25 points here, Bradley.
I think you're right there. It's just a 1 or 2 more corners to negotiate here, but Sean O'Hara really lost out there with the back markers, it would seem. Pete Woodall, the main beneficiary of that one, as he makes his way around Clearways on towards Clark Cove, and this will be the first victory for him in the CB 500. So job well done there for Pete Woodall.
Yeah, I absolutely think so, and lays down a good mark at the championship. Some solid points yesterday, and of course with the demise of his rivals on the overall championship and of course in the class championship, that'll be a very welcome victory, because he would have picked up in the class at least yesterday a couple of seconds, and adds that to a win today. I think he may well be leading the championship at this stage, all very early in the year, but of course you will need to lead it at the end of the year, but that's the way to start, is to pick up those points early. No, Richard Blunt finishes in third, ahead of Billy Carter and Gary Durling, and it's Carver, Marshall, Kearney, Gregory. Kearney and Gregory separated by 0.4 of a second. They're the two rookies. And then it's Lee Durling, Carver, D. Carver, Hayward, Campbell, Moore, Dwyer, Finch, Dwyer N. That was the Dwyer C before.